Kathryn Hahn, Transparent is a hit. Why?
Even though the story is not what we all experience in our families, there is something about the detail of these people that is so universal.
Do you feel that you're part of social progression?
Yeah, it does. It totally feels like we're doing something that's changing the way that storytelling is an empath machine.
Who is your inspiration for the character in Bad Moms?
Growing up in Ohio, my mom had a friend recently who was divorced. And I just loved everything about her. She was like, in Ohio, leather dark tan, 12 months out of the year, very low cut.
Plus, I don't think I've ever said this. What's I Love Dick about?
I want you to tell me.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now, one of Hollywood's most sought-after talents for her acclaimed roles in a wide variety of hit television shows and films. Kathryn Hahn starred in this summer's hilarious comedy Bad Moms. And in the past, we've seen her in movies like The Do-Over opposite Adam Sandler, Tomorrowland alongside George Clooney, and of course, Step Brothers. Kathryn returns as Rabbi Raquel Fine in season 3 of the massively successful TV series Transparent. It's now available to stream on Amazon Prime. Did you like the script for Transparent as soon as you saw it?
Mm-hmm. I knew it was something quite special. Jill Soloway, who wrote and created this show, I had done her first feature. It was a tiny film called Afternoon Delight, which won her the best director at Sundance. It was we shot it in our neighborhood in Silver Lake in like 3 weeks. And while we were in the middle of making the film, her parent came out as a woman in her 70s. And so she knew, I think that part of how she processed it was to think immediately about how she was going to write it. And so from that was born the show. So it's deeply personal.
Did you see yourself as a rabbi?
No, you know what? It's funny, Larry. I was raised Roman Catholic. So no, I did not.
Not at all.
No, But she just refuses to see me as anything but Jewish, because I've been in everything.
Spirituality is the main theme for season 3, right? If you haven't binge-watched it, give us your take. But Transparent is a hit. Why?
Well, going back to what I was saying before, I think it's because it is so deeply personal and so incredibly specific. It's in that specificity that you see, even though the story is not what we all experience in our families, there is something about the detail of these people that is so universal. And, she was saying if there is a running theme and each season kind of was another Jewish holiday, we would say that season 3 is Passover. It's a holiday of liberation. Everyone from Mora on down has made it through the wilderness. They're now in the desert. And so it's now that question is like, now what? Like, what now? I have everything that I thought I had wanted. What is next? And so I think everyone's going through.
Season 3 is tough to write, isn't it?
Not for these people, I guess. I don't get it. There's some sort of a spell going on in that writer's room for sure.
Let's watch a clip from Transparent.
I feel like Len and I are also connecting around this. I feel like a little bit of a spark.
A spark?
When we get together around all this Jewy stuff, there's this sexy but wholesome vibe going on.
So you're gonna get back together with Len?
Maybe.
I thought you said that you were bi or gay or a lesbian.
Doesn't mean I don't love him.
Oh, does it matter?
I wouldn't marry him again.
Marry him again?
Maybe. I don't know, maybe. I just feel very inspired by all this spirituality.
It's not spirituality!
Wait, Raquel, do you need a glass of water?
No water! Sorry. Can you clarify for me really fast what spirituality is for you, Sarah?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I can tell you what it's not. It's not changing your mind whenever you feel like it. It's not following your bliss. It's not finding yourself by crawling through your belly button and out your own asshole and calling it a journey.
Good scene.
Yeah, that's fun.
What makes Jill Soloway special?
I mean, there's so many things. I feel like she's I think it was Jack Johnson. There was some musician I remember that wrote a song that says, "I'm gonna live the life I'm singing about in my song." I feel like she's doing that. She really. I just feel that she's an incredibly authentic person that is just wants to tell stories and change people through those stories.
What does she do with the box? Everybody wants to stand up. What is that?
That happened. That started season 2. She started taking an apple box and we would just like put it in the middle of whoever was available in the morning before we started shooting. Like she just puts it, everyone kind of stands around this apple box, like crew and cast, whoever's available. And one person is tapped, whether it's crew or cast, to stand in the box and just uses it as like a platform. So it could be like a song, or it could be like a funny thing that happened, or it could be like something incredibly moving. And usually ends up being something incredibly moving, just because it's like Emotion City over there. But
And the purpose is?
Purpose is, I think, like it just creates a democracy. Like it just the like old hierarchy of just like director, cast, crew is just like, you know, it's like, well, if we're going to be emotionally naked, we might as well all be emotionally naked.
Okay, she said topple the patriarchy in her Emmy speech. She is a rabble-rouser. She's a...
Yeah, yes, I think so.
I would say.
I think so.
What's it like working with Jeffrey Tambor?
Oh, he's just a diva. Diva Larry King. No, he's amazing.
Do you feel that you're part of social progression? Do you feel that in doing the show, or is it just a show? No. A happy show, a good show, but a show.
I feel like I've spent my whole career working in things that I just feel like have been able to just kind of like scratch the surface. You just kind of operate on just like this weird thin level on the top, and this just feels, yeah, it does. It totally feels like we're doing something that's changing the way that storytelling is an empath machine. You can't not watch a show like this, even if your parent is not transgender. You've never have you can't help watch it and not feel some sort of empathy. So even if it just changes a few souls, then.
Next, we'll revisit Kathryn's hit summer blockbuster, Bad Moms, and look at what's next for the Transparent star. Stay with us. We're back with Kathryn Hahn in the hit TV show Transparent. She's had a lot of hits. Do you prefer comedy?
No, not necessarily, and I wouldn't even consider myself a comedian. It just kind of felt that way. No, I never did sketch or anything like that.
You recently told the New York Times, you've been in hit movies and that you still have a way to go. What do you mean? A way to go to what?
I don't know what that context is. It's a way to go. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the last chapter, like, it's bizarre. Since having kids, for some reason, I feel like I've got a big case of the F-its. And I feel like I'm just like, there's something that you just don't overthink it anymore. And there's something like, you've got a finite time. You like look down the barrel of like what the next couple chapters is, and you're like, I want to do stuff that means something to me and that I love, and that it's a time worth spent. And I'm lucky enough to be able to do that. So many people are not.
Where'd you grow up?
Ohio.
You always want to act?
Yes. Since I was like itty bitty, I was a curtain puller at the Cleveland
You
Playhouse.
were the kid in the class, in the plays in high school?
Yes. I mean, never the ingenue. It was always like the Tin Man.
You starred in the summer blockbuster Bad Moms. You said about the part, there's something about looking at society's expectation of what motherhood is and tipping it, which was really fun to me. Was it fun to shoot?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Why did it work?
I think it worked because there's that, crazy just kind of alchemy that you can't predict with a group of women that just happen to get along really well and have really good chemistry. And then I think it was just, we're all mothers. Every woman in that was a mother. And I think that there is such crazy, there's such mom shaming, and there's such crazy, we put so much expectation on ourselves to be perfect, and it just felt good to be like.
How come women are more successful in Hollywood in comedy than in other? It seems to me, Meryl Streep aside, and she's done.
I beg to differ.
And she's done
Death
comedy,
becomes her. I don't know how to answer that exactly, but I would say that I think that thank God, and that we are at a moment in life that you were saying before, like just that in terms of social progression again, it does feel like 3 steps forward, 3 steps back, but that always happens. Like when things change, there's always a pushback, and then it goes like this for a while. But I just feel like I'm not even talking like politically, just like financially, it just feels fresher than seeing 2 dudes on a poster.
Tony Randall once historically said, comedy is a serious business. The person in a play or a movie that's a comedy doesn't think he or she is funny. They're serious about what they're doing.
Yes.
Is it harder to play?
You know what? I remember I did a farce on Broadway called Boeing Boeing with the great Mark Rylance, who's just unbelievable, and it was a big old door slamming farce. And I remember someone told us a little adage during it that we couldn't stop thinking about. It was another play they were referencing in which someone every night, all these series of missteps happened for him to ask for a cup of coffee, and every night the cup of coffee got a huge laugh. And it was like it was just all these little steps led up to him just asking for a cup of coffee. And all of a sudden, the laugh left. He was doing everything the same. All the steps were leading up to him asking for the cup of coffee, but the laugh was just gone. And the person on stage with him said, darling, it's because you were asking for the laugh and not the cup of coffee. which I think was like, that's so true. That's exactly what you were talking about.
Before we go to break, I know you're a political person. What did you think of the debate?
Oh, honey.
What would you call it?
What I would call, I have a lot of off-color language I would use to describe that. I feel like Donald Trump right now because I can't stop sniffing. It was amazing to me. The lack of preparation was astounding to me. There could not have been clearer how ill-prepared that person would be. It was amazing. His go-to was just to say wrong into the microphone, like as if he was on a game show.
Did that surprise you?
No, of course not. No, but it's what's horrifying is that I feel like we watch it through a lens of, there's just a lot of people that, that watched it and just took away, I'm still a little nervous.
How do you account for the fact that no matter what he says, his people stay with him?
I mean, it's loyalty, for sure.
Fear?
Yes, and I just think it's like a stubborn, this is what this next chapter for us is like to try to break down the stubbornness of something that they had decided months and months ago. Because she ended up being incredible. I was a little nervous at the beginning, but I think what ended up being glorious. But I think it's just to kind of just crack open a little doubt. I think that there's so much in the fear of holding on to, I'm gonna make America great again, instead of just actually listening. I think a lot of listening has stopped happening, and so I hope people continue to do so.
Are you still worried about Election Day?
I will be worried until we're on the other side of it, and then I will be so happy.
After the break, Kathryn is once again teaming up with Jill Soloway for the Amazon series I Love Dick.
I was so excited to hear you say that.
We'll learn more about that next. Our guest is Kathryn Hahn. The amazing series continues to be amazing. You're unbelievable.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's such a credit to you. And
oh, thank you.
You and the whole cast. And Jeffrey, who's a tremendous guy. Yeah, and a diva, as you say.
He's not.
Okay, I don't think I've ever said this. What's I Love Dick about?
I want you to tell me.
Tina's Envy.
It was. It's based on a book. This is this new series that's going at Amazon that I'm in that I could not be more proud of. It's Kevin Bacon plays Dick. Griffin Dunn is my husband. Silvera plays Silvera. And it's based on a very loosely inspired by a book by this woman, Chris Kraus, which was kind of like a feminist kind of cult classic from the 90s. It's epistolary, the book is. It's a series of letters from this woman who's kind of a failed filmmaker to a cultural critic named Dick. And through this letter writing and through this crazy obsession in this man who could care less about her, she's
obsessed with him.
Obsessed. She kind of finds her own voice as an artist.
What about her husband?
Writing.
How's he affected by this?
They have a very, very modern. Well, yeah, you'll see. Not great. I mean, it doesn't. It starts out he's trying to be cool.
Does she and Kevin meet?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kevin is extraordinary.
He's extraordinary, and he's remarkable in this too. And he's just a gentleman. He's fantastic, and he's a real gamer.
Is this going to be a hit?
You know what? I goddamn hope so. But I couldn't be prouder. And Soloway's amazing, and we're already starting to bust the form out, and it's gonna be fun.
A vulture. What is vulture? Anyway,
it is a bird of prey.
Vulture labeled the new show provocative. Is that fair?
Yes.
Because?
I think you hear the title and you hear the people involved and you think it's going to be one thing, and it is not. It's like a real tone poem, and it's, I just think it really gets you thinking. The pilot's up now, and I highly recommend people to go check it out because we shot it in Marfa, Texas.
On Amazon.
On Amazon.
We do a little thing here called If You Only Knew. I just throw things at you.
Great, okay.
What's your funniest fan encounter?
Well, I'll tell you, my funniest fan encounter was I once went up to a guy in New York thinking that he had stage managed a show at Northwestern, and it was Sean Lennon.
Proudest accomplishment?
My 2 kids, for sure.
Best piece of advice you ever got?
That what they think of you is none of your business.
Worst piece of advice you ever got?
Oh, to use a spray tan on a certain event, and it was bad news.
Someone you would trade places with for a day?
Oh, there's so many people. There's so many brains I'd love to be inside of for a second. A poet.
Biggest risk you ever took?
Biggest risk. I think going to graduate school a little bit later.
Where?
At Yale. When I was a little bit older. It kind of took me out of the game for a second, but.
You're a doctorate from Yale?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if it's a doctorate. I'm an MFA.
In what?
Performance acting.
Paul Newman School.
Yeah.
Dream co-star.
Gina Rollins and anything.
If you could take one person to lunch, who would it be and where would you take them?
I would love to go out to lunch with you because I feel like we're just getting started.
I feel like you're becoming Jewish. Do you do Don't fall down. I hate when they fall down. Do you do impersonations?
Horribly, but yes.
Want to do one?
Okay. I don't even know what that is.
Something you long believed to be true but wasn't.
Oh. I guess that it mattered what trying to fit into some idea of what society thinks you should be. It's not worth it.
Appearances.
Yeah, who cares?
Don't mean a thing.
It is what it is.
If not acting, then what?
There's days where I'd love to be just a mom, and then just full time as a mom.
Best part about being well known?
Validating your ego.
You ever turned down a role you regretted?
No.
Never did that. Favorite things to do on a day off?
I love eating a meal by myself. I like going horseback riding. And I like just any kind of road trip with my family.
Biggest thing you've ever splurged on?
Probably a home.
That's...
I mean, just like for my, my third home. No, I'm kidding. Just like a home for my family.
In our final moments, Kathryn has a cold, by the way, and that accounted for that snort. We'll take your questions. Stay with us.
Thank you.
We have some social media questions for the delightful and talented Kathryn Hahn. Transparent, keeps on rolling along. We got to know on Twitter asked, Step Brothers is likely the finest film ever made. When can we expect a sequel?
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? There were whispers of it for a second, and I think they went with Anchorman too, but I'm hoping.
What made it special?
Oh, I just think it's because it was like one of the first of those like anarchic comedies hinging on nothing, but ended up being so funny. And it's just the two of them are extraordinary together. It was Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, and Richard Jenkins and Mary Steenburgen. It was like Adam Scott. It was an amazing cast. Adam McKay.
On Twitter also asked, my wife loves you. Who was your inspiration for the character in Bad Moms? Oh,
it was a composite of a lot, but growing up in Ohio, my mom had a friend recently who was divorced, and I just loved everything about her. She was like in Ohio, leather dark tan, 12 months out of the year, very low cut. She had a huge gold necklace with the unfortunate mascot of the Cleveland Indians at that point, which was called Chief Wahoo back then, which was not great. But it was gold and diamonds.
But the Indians are good enough.
Yeah.
Ann Dawson on the Larry King Now blog. If you could choose another leading lady of comedy to share the screen with, who would it be?
Oh, there's so many. I think Wig is a goddess. McCarthy. There's so many. Maya Rudolph, forever and always.
Carol Burnett, historically.
Oh, historically.
Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett, yes.
Funny.
Also Terry Garr. If we're going back, there's
How is Terry? I know she was...
I don't know.
Don't hear about her. King M on Facebook. Do you have any other films on the horizon? Is there a director you're dying to work with?
Oh, there's a ton of directors. So many women directors, too, like Tamara Jenkins I would love to work with. There's, Jane Campion. There's a bunch. I would always love to do a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I think he's an incredible voice. Anyone that has like a particular solid vision.
My Friars Club, we just honored Martin Scorsese last week. Pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
Keen MS, you played so many great roles. Which one are you most recognized for when you walk down the street?
Usually, oddly enough, it's Jen Barkley from Parks and Recreation. And that people really love that show.
That was a big hit, right?
Yeah, that was a really fun show.
Kim Detweiler on Facebook. I love Transparent. How long do you see that show lasting? And do you think they could make a movie of it?
I don't know if she would, because I think Jill kind of shoots it as if it was a 5-hour film. It doesn't have like a kind of a normal breaking of the episodes. I think she said she sees it going for like 6 episodes. 6 episodes. I'm sorry, 6 seasons. Yeah, and we're just wrapped the 3rd. Yeah, or it's up.
Corey Anderson on the Larry King Now blog. What are the most excited for viewers to see in the forthcoming season of I Love Dick? And will the show stick close to the story the book tells?
It's
No?
I'll answer the second part first. I think it will. I think that's a launching off part, the book, for sure. I think that what I'm most excited about is just seeing this woman discover herself through this man. Also, she's like taking the idea of the female gaze and really putting it into practice in this
She's
show.
gay?
The female gaze, G-A-Z-E.
Oh.
But also, there are some female gays, G-A-Y-S, in the show
I see.
as well.
Because you threw me there a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's both.
Does you pronounce gaze different than gaze?
Well, it doesn't sound that
Gaze
different.
has
Gaze.
a Z,
Gaze.
and gaze has an S.
Gaze.
Gaze. Gaze.
Sounds very similar to me.
Sounds similar to me, too.
Oh, I can't really hear anything right now because I'm so congested.
Have you done theater?
Lots. Yeah, not in a while. I was just saying the last play I did was Boeing, that Broadway farce. But then I went to school for it and everything. Oh,
You don't want to shake hands because you got a cold.
I don't want to shake your
And
hand,
colds
sir.
are transmitted through the hands.
We don't know. There's still a lot we need to learn. But you might want to Purell this side of the table.
A big guess, a big thanks to my guest,
Excuse me?
Kathryn Hahn, who loves Dick. Be sure to tune into the third season of Transparent, now streaming on Amazon Prime. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. And I'll see you next time, maybe. On Larry King Now, Transparent star Kathryn Hahn. Transparent is a hit. Why?
Even though the story is not what we all experience in our families, there is something about the detail of these people that is so universal.
Do you feel that you're part of social progression?
Yeah, it does. It totally feels like we're doing something that's changing the way that storytelling is an empath machine.
Who was your inspiration for the character in Bad Moms?
Growing up in Ohio, my mom had a friend recently who was divorced. And I just loved everything about her. She was like in Ohio, leather dark tan, 12 months out of the year, very low cut.
Plus, I don't think I've ever said this. What's I Love Dick about?
I want you to tell me.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now, one of Hollywood's most sought-after talents for her acclaimed roles in a wide variety of hit television shows and films. Kathryn Hahn starred in this summer's hilarious comedy Bad Moms. And in the past, we've seen her in movies like The Do-Over opposite Adam Sandler, Tomorrowland alongside George Clooney, and of course, Step Brothers. Kathryn returns as Rabbi Raquel Fine in season 3 of the massively successful TV series Transparent. It's now available to stream on Amazon Prime. Did you like the script for Transparent as soon as you saw it?
Mm-hmm. I knew it was something quite special. Jill Soloway, who wrote and created this show, I'd done her first feature. It was a tiny film called Afternoon Delight, which won her the Best Director at Sundance. It was we shot it in our neighborhood in Silver Lake in like 3 weeks. And while we were in the middle of making the film, her parent came out as a woman in her 70s. And so she knew, I think that part of how she processed it was to think immediately about how she was going to write it. And so from that was born the show. So it's deeply personal.
Did you see yourself as a rabbi?
No, you know what? It's funny, Larry. I was raised Roman Catholic. So no, I did not.
Not at all.
No, But she just refuses to see me as anything but Jewish, because I've been in everything.
Spirituality is the main theme for season 3, right? If you haven't binge watched it, give us your take. But Transparent is a hit. Why?
Well, going back to what I was saying before, I think it's because it is so deeply personal and so incredibly specific. It's in that specificity that you see, even though the story is not what we all experience in our families, there is something about the detail of these people that is so universal. And, she was saying if there is a running theme, and each season kind of was another Jewish holiday,